Alright, what's up everybody? Back with another episode of Everyday Hoops. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about the games that happened yesterday on February 11th. We're going to be talking about the All-Star Game and some of the replacements that were announced, and a trade on the trade deadline that may not be going through now. Some drama about that. But yeah, hopefully we have another good episode today. So we're going to start right away with the games that happened yesterday. It was a big slate. So we're going to get through them. The first one was the 76ers and the Knicks playing against each other. This was a good game. It started off really good with Jalen Brunson scoring 20 first quarter points. He was on fire to start this game. He's been having an amazing year. Brunson scores 20 of the first 36 Knick points in the first quarter. The Sixers fight back in the second with Joel. Tyrese Maxey playing nice. And then the third quarter happens. It's a very back and forth third quarter. Julius Randle has 15 in that quarter, and we go into the fourth with the Knicks having a 1-point lead, and the Knicks are playing really good to start the quarter. You know, the Knicks bench is playing good. Yeah, I mean, quickly as a Hartenstein doing their thing, and then, from the 7:23 mark of the fourth quarter, from that point on, George Niang hits a three-pointer to start it off. At that point, the Knicks were only down two. RJ Barrett just hit a shot to make it a 2-point game. And as soon as George Niang hits that three-pointer with 7:23 left to go, the 76ers go on a 16-7 run to end the game with some help from Tobias Harris, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and the 76ers outscore the Knicks 27-15 in the fourth and win 119-108. A great win from Philly. Joel Embiid with another 30-point game. That's how he now has 30-point games this season, which is the fourth most in the NBA. He's the fourth player to have 30-point games so far this year, with Luka, Shea, and Jason Tatum. He had 35 at 11 and 6 on a very efficient 14 for 18. He did hit 7 free throws. Tyrese Maxey was a big factor off the bench, putting up 27 points. James Harden had a good game with 20, 12 assists to go with 8 rebounds. And yeah, the Sixers got the win. Turnovers and steals really were a big part of this game. The Sixers only had 6 turnovers. They forced 12 Knick turnovers, and they had 8 steals as a team, including Tyrese Maxey having 3 by himself. And yeah, for the Knicks, it was just didn't have enough, really. That's what it was. Jalen Brunson had 20 in the first. He finished with 30 with 9 assists. Julius Randle had 30 and 10. But yeah, RJ Barrett had 19. He shot 7 for 16. Quickly was solid off the bench. But then yeah, after that, Quentin Grimes was 3 for 7. He missed all of his threes. Obi Toppin was only doing much. Miles McBride only played 9 minutes. Knicks just didn't have enough in this game. And the Sixers took over. And they won. Going against a really good team. Good one from Philly. The next game we had was the Suns and the Pacers. No Kevin Durant yet. No reinforcements yet for Phoenix. But they went into Indiana. And they played really good. Honestly, they played really good. The first half, they won at halftime up by 13 points, and they just didn't look back. The third quarter, they scored 35-30, and they won this game 117-104. Really, the game wasn't in the balance at all. Suns just came out and did what they do. They shot 46% from the field, shot solid enough from 3. The rebounding battle was big too. They have 53 rebounds to the Pacers 38. They also had 19 offensive rebounds. The Pacers had 11. They also had 13 steals as a team. The Suns did. And really everyone was contributing. Aiden had 22 and 11. He's been on a tear recently the last week. Devin Booker had 21 and 5 assists. Chris Paul had 19 with 9 assists. Josh Okogie, who's been contributing a lot this year, has 17 points. Torrey Craig with 11 and 12. Now's their new starting power forward. Yeah, the Suns really just came in and did what they did. It's probably their last game before Kevin Durant comes in. Oh, actually, no. Kevin Durant's hurt still, so maybe it'll be a few more games. But yeah, the Suns are starting to hit their stride early. And yeah, for Indiana, another loss. They fell off hard recently, all because of the Tyrese Halliburton injury. Even when he's been back, it's been tough. He hasn't really been shooting as much. He had just 5 assists last night. Benedict Mathurin was the leading scorer, who had 22 off the bench. But yeah, Buddy Hield shot 5 for 12. Andrew Nembhard, he had 10 assists, but he didn't score. Miles Turner had 7 points. Their offense has just been not good. In the last 15 games, the Pacers, just including Tyrese Halliburton being in and out. Over the last 15 games, the Pacers are the worst offense, 30th in offensive rating, 26th in defensive rating, 28th in net rating, 29th in effective field goal percentage, the 28th in points per game, the worst field goal shooting team in the league, and 28th in turnovers. And over those last 15, they have a 2-13 record. They went from 23-19 to 25-32. They went from a basically 7 seed to the 12th seed just like that. And it sucks because they're doing so well and they're such a fun team to watch. But kind of hit a wall, really, offensively. And a lot of that is due to Tyrese Halliburton not being out. Halliburton is such a big part of this offense, basically. He makes everyone around him better. Since he's come back, he's been solid, but the offense just hasn't really taken a big jump since he's got back. But yeah, it was fun while it lasted, at least. It was very fun while it lasted. Yeah, the Pacers are just not good anymore. The next game was the Hornets and the Celtics. This was on ESPN for some reason. I don't know why. Celtics got off to a hot start, 32-24 at the end of the first quarter. They outscored the Hornets by 10 in the second quarter. It was Derek White. It was the Derek White show. He had 26 points in the first half. He was on fire. He was just doing everything, really. He was so good. And the Celtics going to halftime up by 18. And they're pretty much comfortable in this game. The fourth quarter was big, though. Hornets outscored the Celtics by 5 in the fourth, made it a little bit of a game. But Jason Tatum, who had 23 second half points, closed this game out. The Celtics win 127-116, their 40th win of the season. The first team so far this year to get to 40 wins. Yeah, Derek White and Jason Tatum really helped them win this game. Jason Tatum had 41 that game, shooting 13 for 21. Against the Hornets, he's really just been killing them. They played the Hornets 4 times this year. In those 4 games, Tatum's averaging 40 points per game with 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shooting 55% from the field, 40% from 3, and 93% from the free throw line. He's just been absolutely dominating them. Their last game he played, I think it was on MLK Day, I'm pretty sure. He had 51. He just kills. He just doesn't like the Hornets, really. And then Derek White having a career game, 33 points, 10 assists. I think he's the first player to have this sort of stat line for Boston while also hitting 8 threes since Antoine Walker did it. Shout out to Antoine Walker. But Tatum and White were really carrying them in this game. Mike Muscala made his Celtic debut and hit 4 threes off the bench. That's good for them. Robert Williams had 16 rebounds. Yeah, the Celtics really just outplayed the Hornets. And one big thing was the 3-point shooting. The Celtics shot 25 for 55 from 3. The Hornets were 8 for 23. Yeah, and the Celtics won the assist battle 34-26. And yeah, the Hornets aren't good, really, and the Celtics are. That's what this game came down to. The next game was the Jazz and the Raptors. The Raptors is their first game since the trade deadline where they didn't make any moves. So, they stayed packed. And Jakob Poeltl also made his debut today, or last night in Toronto. It was a good start to this game. The Raptors were up 6 at the end of the first. The Jazz in the second quarter outscored the Raptors by 3. But the story of the first half was Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam, 23 points in the first half. He was going off, really. Doing it from everywhere. Going to the end of the line, hitting the pull-up mid-range he loves, 3-point shot. He was just hitting everything. He was also coming off a big game the day before the trade deadline in San Antonio, against San Antonio, where he had 37 and 10. He was really good in that game. And he started off really hot in this game against the Jazz. And then in the third quarter, the Raptors outscored the Jazz 35-25. And the Raptors are in control for most of it. And then with 5:17 left in the fourth quarter, Pascal Siakam hits a shot. And the Raptors go up by 13 with 5:17 left in the fourth quarter. From that point, after Pascal Siakam hits that shot, going on, the Jazz kill the Raptors. Taylor Horton-Tucker gets involved. He kind of started the whole run. He hit a few shots in a row. Then it was Walker Kessler as well. Colin Sexton, Larry Markkinen, and the Jazz outscored the Raptors 24-5 to end the game, outscoring Toronto 39-20 in the fourth quarter. And the Jazz come from behind and sneak out a 122-116 win in Toronto. Just big fight from the Jazz. A lot of people, including myself, thought they were going to fall After the trade they made, the trade deadline with the Lakers, they gave up a lot of their valuable role players. They went a lot younger, but I mean, they showed fight. They had a big comeback win. Larry Markkinen was leading scorer with 23. Walker Kessler had another great game, 23 and 9 rebounds, shooting 10 for 12. He didn't have a block in this game, but his impact was felt. Colin Sexton, who now I guess is the new starting point guard for the Jazz, had 22, 6 assists. He had bringing a lot of energy. Kelly Olynyk had 15, 7 and 8. Taylor Horton Tucker had a near triple-double. And that's what the Jazz really do. They just fight. You know, the Jazz play a very team-oriented style of basketball. It's not like they just give the ball to Laurie and go. You know, they actually play a really good team ball. And that's what really won in this game. You know, they out-assisted the Raptors 31 to 28. Everyone really got involved. Markkinen, Kessler, Sexton, Olynyk, THT, Rudy Gay even at 12. The Jazz pulled out a really nice win. But for Toronto, not a very inspiring game. The first game after you make a big move by staying packed at the deadline and not making any moves, well, except for Jakob Poeltl, who only played 17 minutes and had 6 points. And then the first game after you do that, you come out and lose to the Jazz when you're up 13 with 5 minutes left. Yeah, but at least Pascal had another good game. 35, 6 and 4 with 3 steals. He had 5 threes. He was really good. But yeah, no one else really shot well. Well, Precious also had 16. But after that, Gary Trent shot 7 for 20. Fred VanVleet was 4 for 13. Scotty Barnes was 5 for 14. Just not a very good shooting game for Toronto. For their starters, beside Pascal. And yeah, their offense just went cold. So it was, their offense went cold. Yeah, not a very inspiring game for Toronto, who fallen out of the play-in again by half game. It doesn't really matter right now. But yeah, they're down to 11 again after the loss last night. Next game was a very oddly satisfying game. San Antonio, Detroit. It was a very close game. Very close game throughout. Two teams at the bottom of the league just going really at each other. Both teams making some trades to get off their veterans, getting a lot of more young guys playing this game. And this game really came down to it. And we're going to fast forward you to the fourth quarter of this game. We're just back and forth. You know, Bogdanovich played well in the fourth quarter. Stanley Johnson, against the team that drafted him, was coming out making good moves. Jaden Ivey, who struggled to shoot in this game, was getting to the line. Zach Collins was playing really well. We go down to the final few minutes. Jalen Duren hits a 2-point tip layup to make Pistons up by 2. Zach Collins comes down the other end. He hits a shot to side of the game. Jaden Ivey comes back, hits a shot to make the Pistons go back up by 2. And then the Spurs miss. Jalen Duren comes down, lays it up to make it a 4-point game. Zach Collins with a layup to make it a 2-point game. And then Stanley Johnson gets a steal on Jaden Ivey. It gets a dunk to tie the game with 1:10 left. Then after that, no one scores for the last minute 10. We go into overtime. 113, 113. We go into overtime. And it looks like this is the Spurs win. Really. Malachi Branham, Zach Collins again. Both doing big things. Devontae Graham hits a 3-pointer to put the Spurs up 4 with 18 seconds left. We come out of the 18 second. We come out of the timeout, 18 seconds left. Bojan Bogdanovich hits a jumper that is first looked at to be a 3, but then they review it. It's a 2-point shot, so it's a 2-point game. 15 seconds left. Then the inbound play, Isaiah Livers gets a steal, finds Bojan Bogdanovich, and Bogdanovich gets fouled. And I looked away because I thought for sure the Spurs have it in the bag. Then again, these are two very bad teams, so nothing's off the limits. Zach Collins fouls Bogdanovich and actually fouls out of the game. After that, Bogdanovich hits 2 free throws. The Pistons get a block on the other end. We go into double overtime. Then double overtime, the Pistons take over. Bogdanovich hits shot. Isaiah Livers hits a big 3-pointer. Isaiah Stewart hits a shot, some free throws, and the Pistons win 131-138 in double overtime. Bojan Bogdanovich has 32 points in this game. He went 10 for 10 for the free throw line. But it was the Jalen Duren game. Jalen Duren. I say it both ways. I don't know if it's Duren or Duren. By the way, the guy is really good. He had his best game of his career last night. 30 points, 17 rebounds, and 4 blocks. He shot 13 for 20 from the field. Hit 4 of his 9 free throws. He's the second youngest player in NBA history to have a 30-point, 15-rebound game only trailing LeBron James. It's funny when you see guys like this go into like records that only LeBron did or Kevin Durant did. It's like, oh, okay, that's a weird name to put next to LeBron, but I guess yeah. It was very fun to watch this game. Just a lot of young players and players you don't really see get a lot of opportunity going in and playing a lot. I love to see that. Also for the Pistons today, Stewart had 15 and 11. Hamidou Diallo was solid. Isaiah Livers played 40 minutes. He was really good with 11 and 10. And Jaden Ivey, very impressed with Jaden Ivey. He shot just 3 for 15 and it was over 7 from 3. But he was doing everything else. He was making plays on the defensive end, getting assists, rebounds, and getting to the free throw line. When the shot's not working, just get to the rim. Either to make a layup, call a foul. And he hit 11 of his 17 points came off of free throws. So that was great seeing Jaden Ivey do that. But for San Antonio, it was Devontae Graham. His first game as a Spur. He goes off for 31 points and hits 6 threes off the bench. Which is nice to see. This is like, it looked like Charlotte Devontae Graham out there. He was handling the ball, taking a lot of shots. It was fun to see. And he was really just bringing them back, really, in this game's open. In any way he could. Maybe he gets his value up, and maybe next year, he's on a different team. I don't know. But yeah, Zach Collins. Zach Collins has been having a very underrated year. And he had an amazing game last night, 29 and 11 before fouling out. But Zach Collins has actually been pretty good this year. Zach Collins, this year is averaging he's averaging career highs almost everywhere. He's averaging career highs, just under 10 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, shooting 54% from the field. Those are all career highs. He's also shooting 35% from 3, 73% from the free throw line. I mean, he's been playing very solid. He was a guy that was a lottery pick a few years ago, from Sacramento, then traded to Portland. Portland, he had some glimpses, but just injuries, really. Injuries were just killed his career. But now this year, he's in San Antonio, and he's doing very solid. He's doing very, very, very solid. He's kind of a power forward center type dude that score around the rim, good defensively as well. And it's nice to see him finally live up to potential a little bit. Overall, it's a fun game to watch. And it's kind of fun when two bad teams go against each other, because you never know what's gonna happen. You're gonna either get a really sloppy game, or you're gonna get a high scoring, really good game. The next game was the Timberwolves and Grizzlies going off against each other. So debuts today. Mike Conley made his Minnesota Timberwolves debut, and yeah, the Grizzlies. The second quarter was big for the Grizzlies. They outscored Minnesota 38-26 and didn't look back. They were on them the whole time. John Morant, Jaren, Desmond, and then the bench, particularly Santi Aldama and Brandon Clark, were putting it on Minnesota. Grizzlies shot 58% from the field, 40% from 3. They won the rebound battle, 44-35. They had 6 blocks, 12 steals. And the Grizzlies get the win, 128-107 over Minnesota. John Morant has a near triple-double, 32, 9, and 9. Desmond Bane has 20. Jaren Jackson 15 and 6 with 4 blocks. Defensive Player of the Year. And then Santi Aldama and Brandon Clark were contributing huge off the bench. Aldama had 18 points. Brandon Clark had 16 and 4 rebounds. And the Grizzlies won 2 in a row. They're all going on a very bad, run of losing. Lost a lot of games in a row after saying they're fine in the West and all that stuff. But they're starting to get on track a little tiny bit. You never know what's going to happen, but starting to get on track a little bit. But for Minnesota, they just had really nothing out there. Mike Conley made his debut. He had 9 points. Hit a 3-pointer. Yeah, they just didn't have any energy, I felt like. Anthony Edwards had 17. He shot 8 for 19. Rudy had 8. Jaden McDaniels shot just 2 for 10 from the field. Yeah, really. A lot of their offense was Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel had 21 off the bench. He shot 9 for 16. Yeah, the bench was solid for Minnesota. Jalen Noel had 21. Torian Prince had 10. Naz Reid had 10. But it just the starting lineup just didn't have any energy. It just wasn't that good. And the Grizzlies pounced on them immediately and won that game. Next one was another surprisingly good game. Rockets and Heat. Rockets and Heat. It was a tug of war match really the whole game. The Rockets led by one at the end of the first, and the Heat led by two at halftime. The score was 17-17 in the third quarter. Both teams scored 17 in the third. Very, very odd to see 17 points in the quarter by both teams. But yeah, we go to the fourth quarter where the young Rockets are going up against the Heat. And the Rockets are really making solid plays. Cam Martin Jr., Ty Washington, Jayshawn Tate, they're hitting a lot of shots to go down. A lot of stuff happened in the last 30 seconds. Last 30 seconds, Bam Adebayo gets a steal. Tyler Hero hits a three-pointer to put the Heat up by 2 with 24 seconds left. The Rockets come down. Prince Sengun misses the layup, but Jabari Smith gets an offensive rebound and gets fouled. He hits both free throws to tie the game at 93 with 10 seconds left. We come down the other end. Jimmy Butler gets fouled by Jayshawn Tate going to the rim. Jimmy hits 2 free throws to make it a 2-point game with 7 seconds left, and the Rockets don't have any timeouts. So the Rockets come out because they lost the timeout challenging the Jayshawn Tate call. And then Jalen Green comes down. Jalen Green gets right to the rim and makes a tough finish to tie the game with about 0.4 seconds left. And then the inbound, just one of the most beautiful inbound plays you'll see. You have to go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a play where Jimmy Butler sets a screen for Max Strus, and the play I thought originally was Max Strus was getting a three-pointer. Because Max Strus came up to the three-point line, and both the players, the one that was guarding Jimmy, one that was guarding Max Strus, both went over to Jimmy. Because it's Jimmy Butler in the fourth quarter. And Max Strus is wide open, and I was like, oh, Max Strus is getting this off. Try to win the game. Max Strus comes down, but then Gabe Vincent doesn't give him the ball. And I was like, why? And then all of a sudden I look over, and Jimmy Butler's going right to the rim. Because both the players that went to Jimmy Butler are now like, oh shoot, Max Strus is wide open. And they both go to Max Strus, leaving Jimmy Butler open. Gabe Vincent throws a great pass, a lob pass to Jimmy. Jimmy gets it and dunks it as time expires, and the Heat get a 97-95 win over Houston. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra for your beautiful play. But yeah, Jimmy Butler wasn't really doing much to the fourth quarter. I was looking at the score, and Jimmy Butler had like 6 points, and I was like, what's going on? Yeah, but Jimmy finished with 16, shooting 4 for 11. He had 8 free throws. But it was Tyler Hero for Miami. Tyler Hero had 31, 9, and 8. His first 30-point game in a while. I feel like Tyler Hero was kind of just on the low key for a while. In January, he's kind of been just chilling out. January, he's played 14 games. He's averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. His shooting numbers are not good, though. Shooting just 39% from the field and 32% from 3. So he needed a game like this to kind of wake him back up. Yeah, it was a good win from Miami. A good fight from Houston. Really good fight from Houston. Jabari Smith had 22 points. Cam Martin Jr. continued his good season with 17. Alperen at 12 and 8. Jalen Green had a tough shooting night. He shot just 5 for 19 with 11 points. But this was a tough shooting night for both teams. I mean, it was a 97-95 score. Both teams shot 42% from the field. Both teams had 16 turnovers. Everything was very close in this game. This was a very close game. But, the Miami Heat just run an amazing inbound play to get a win. The next game was the Mavericks and the Kings. The second game of Kyrie Irving as a Maverick. And the Mavericks come out hot. They score 45 first quarter points. They're up by 20 at the end of the first. But the Kings rally back. The Kings outscore the Mavs by 2 second quarter. Then 4 in the third quarter to kind of make things tighter around. De'Aaron Fox was playing a really good game. And then, the fourth quarter, there's really Kyrie Irving, Reggie Bullock, Tim Hardaway really kind of sealing this game. Every time De'Aaron Fox hit a shot, Mavericks come down and get 2 free throws every time. And the Mavericks win 122-114. The 3-point shot was big. The Mavericks doubled the Kings' 3-pointers. The Mavericks went 18 for 43 from 3. The Kings went 9 for 27. The Mavericks only had 9 turnovers and forced 14. And the assists. The Mavs were moving the ball around. The Mavs had 34 assists to the Kings' 21. Kyrie had 10 of those assists. He finished with 25 points. He shot just 5 for 14, but he hit 12 free throws. It was doing well. But yeah, it was the others, really. Kyrie was getting everyone involved. Josh Green had 17 points. Tim Hardaway had 15. Reggie Bullock had 13. Jaden Hardy had 12. Christian Wood had 13. Even JaVale came in and had 11. Kyrie and then Mavericks were just getting everyone involved. And that's how it was. You know, it was just getting everyone involved, getting everyone hot, and they got a win. And now they're fourth in the West with reinforcements coming back tonight. But for Sacramento, it was really De'Aaron Fox keeping him in this game. De'Aaron finished with 33 points. He's having a fantastic year. Sabonis at 18, 11, and 7. Keegan Murray at 16. Kevin Huerter at 15. They didn't really get anything from their bench. Yeah, the Mavericks with ball movement and 3-point shooting. You know, they get a win. Next, we had another ESPN game, the Cavs and the Pelicans. The Cavs came out hot to start. Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley were really doing their thing. And the Cavs really just kind of rode this thing out and won. You know, they had a few days to rest. The rebounds, they were getting a lot of offensive rebounds. Getting to the basket a lot faster and easier. Just getting easy shots. You know, and that's really how they were winning this game. The Pelicans, B.I. and Trey Murphy were playing really good, trying to make it close. But it was really Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland didn't have a great game. It was Donovan, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. And those three are really carrying the Cavs through the game. And they win 118 to 107. For Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell, 30 points. In this game, Evan Mobley has 28 and 13, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Just an amazing game from him. And Jared Allen at 20 and 11. It was those three, the big three over there, doing it for Cleveland. Yeah, the rebound battle. Cavs that rebounded the Pelicans 41 to 34. Cavs at 5 blocks and 9 steals. Yeah, the Cavs are really good. Cavs are really good. They won 5 in a row. They're 36 and 22. They're a game behind Philly for third. I really love seeing this team do well. Really love seeing this team do well. And they got a good win on national TV. They're not really on national TV as much as I think they should be. Because they're a very fun and good team. And young as well. And up and coming. But whatever, I guess. Next was a really exciting game. Thunder and Blazers in this game. And it was really, we can label this game as the Shea versus Dame show. It was really those two going at it with each other. The whole game. Both of them were on fire. I'm locked in. You know, it was a 2-point game out of the first. The Thunder had a very good second quarter. Shea had a very good second quarter. And the Blazers come out in the third, and they're, hot. And it looks like it's going to come down to the wire. And the fourth quarter happens. And after the Blazers score the first, 7 points of the quarter, then the Thunder go on a big, big, big run with Shea, with Josh Giddey really leading them away. And then once in a while, Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins shot there, even there, or Jalen Williams. And the Thunder win 138 to 129. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ties his career high with 44 points, along with 7 assists, shooting 13 for 16 from the field and in 18 of his 19 free throws. But yeah, the Thunder really just outworked the Blazers, especially in the fourth quarter. They outscored them 35 to 24. Thunder shot 57% from the field, 50% from 3. Only had 10 turnovers to the Blazers 18. Had 9 steals, and they had Shea. that really helped as well. But yeah, Thunder really just outworking the Blazers in the fourth, and I really love watching this Thunder team, and I really hope this Thunder team actually kind of makes the plan. I would love to see them on the stage. I feel like they have a chance to knock out someone unexpectedly. They just have that type of game, they kind of play as a team. They have a superstar. They have really good, guys that can help you win a game, like Josh Giddey, like a Jalen Williams. And they just play hard. And they move the ball, too. They move the ball around a lot. It's not just Shea taking all the shots all the time. Sometimes it's everyone else really just feed. But yeah, Josh Giddey had 19, 6 and 7. Jalen Williams had 13. Lou Dort, who came off the bench in this game, hit 18 points and shot 3 for 3 from 3. But yeah, for Portland, Damian Lillard had 38 and 9 assists. He's been killing it. Jeremy Grant had 23 in the game. But yeah, really I want to talk about Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, first game as a Blazer as a starter. And had 11 points, a very solid game. Showed some flashes, on both ends. And I really love this for Cam Reddish. He gets to go to Portland where I was saying in my trade deadline reaction, I was like, who's really getting a lot more minutes than Cam Reddish? Who's going to take Cam Reddish's minutes away? So he's got a lot of time to show what we all think he can be. And I hope he really works out for him here. I hope it really does. Because I feel like at this point, if it doesn't work out in Portland, then I don't know what else we can really do for him. Maybe this is just who Cam Reddish is. You never know. But I'm glad he got an opportunity in Portland to kind of show who he really is and go out there and just play basketball at the end of the day. I also really like Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp is really good as well. And the last game of the night was the Bucks and the Clippers. The Bucks are really good. Giannis Antetokounmpo is really good at basketball. Giannis is really good, and when the shooters are shooting, it's a tough day. You know, Clippers had a good first, up 27-22 in the end of the first. Clippers also did not have Kawhi Leonard in this game, which is a big part of this. But yeah, but then after the first quarter, it's really the Bucks taking over. The Bucks outscored the Clippers 32-24 in the second. Outscored them by 2 in the third. Outscored them by 8 in the fourth. Giannis, and then just the shooters around him. Real, you know, like it was Pat Connaughton sometimes, Grayson Allen sometimes, Brook Lopez even sometimes, just hitting timely shots. Just close this game out, and the Bucks win 119-106. They have won 10 games in a row and are second in the Eastern Conference, only I think one game behind the Boston Celtics at 39-17. They're now the second best record in the NBA. Now remember, right before this 10-game win streak, the Bucks were kind of starting to look a little iffy. You know, Giannis was starting to get hurt. Chris Middleton was in and out of the lineup. The shooters weren't really hitting. Guys like Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen were getting kind of cold. And it was looking a little bit dim. Well, I don't want to say dim, like they're going to be like a playing team. But kind of, we know the expectations for the Bucks. The Bucks' expectations are to get, they have high expectations. They want to be in the finals again. They want to be at least in the conference finals again. But in the finals, should be competing for championships. So, compared to that expectation we have on them, it was looking a little bit dim for them at that point. But now, Giannis and Chris Middleton are back. Now, Chris Middleton actually didn't play in last night's game against the Clippers. But Giannis is back. Everyone around him is hitting shots again. Drew Holiday's an all-star now. Brook Lopez is playing really well. I love how Joe Ingles looks coming back from injury. And Jay Crowder is about to be on his way. And Bobby Portis hasn't played in a little while, which is another 16 to 18 points they can give him. Yeah, this Bucks team, I mean, is dangerous. They're dangerous. And Giannis has been a tear. Giannis last night had 35, 8, and 6. He's been dominating. Brook Lopez at 22, 15, and 3 blocks. Drew Holiday at 19. Javon Carter at 13. Marjon Beauchamp got some minutes and had 10 points. Big game for them. But for the Clippers, yeah, no Kawhi, which is really tough. They also didn't have any of the new trade deadline reinforcements they got. They didn't play. But yeah, at least Brandon Boston got some time. Brandon Boston was the leading scorer. He had 20 points in 26 minutes and started. So that's good for them. But yeah, that's all the games from yesterday. Now, I'm going into some All-Star weekend. So we all know that injuries happen. So there's a lot of guys that are named to the All-Star team that are not going to be able to play in the All-Star game. And yesterday, the replacements for those guys have been announced. So in the Western Conference, Steph Curry, who has a leg injury, and Zion Williamson, who has a hamstring injury, both starters, are not going to be playing in the All-Star game. So John Morant and Lauri Markkanen, who are both reserves, are now taking their places as starters. And Anthony Edwards and De'Aaron Fox are going to be now in the All-Star game to replace those guys, which I think is great. I personally think De'Aaron Fox should have made it regardless, but, you know, things happen. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox really deserves it. I'm really happy for him. He's been through so much in Sacramento, and now to finally be named an All-Star and to be on a top team in the West is just great for him. You know, it's great for him. I'm a big fan of De'Aaron. I think he's a very, very good player, and he deserves this All-Star nod. And then Anthony Edwards. I mean, Anthony Edwards has just been amazing since, you know, the last few months. He's just been amazing. He's kind of brought the Timberwolves back from being like a 12 seed, kind of super odd and disappointing. So now they're in the play-in, dang near in the playoffs. And he's become kind of a star player, especially with Karl Anthony Towns not being able to play, which I don't know what. I honestly forgot about Karl Anthony Towns. I saw him on the bench yesterday in the Memphis game, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Karl Anthony Towns exists. But yeah, he's really taking a star role as a leader as well, even off the court. You know, you can see some of the things he's saying, some of the things he's doing, and he's kind of matured and being more responsible and being a leader. And I love that. And I love that he gets to play in the All-Star game. He's a guy that needs to be in the All-Star game. He's just, the All-Star game is about fun and having fun and highlight plays, and Anthony Edwards is going to do that. He even came out and said, I'm going for that All-Star Game MVP. You know, he cited Russell Westbrook when he was a replacement in the All-Star Game and he came out and won MVP. And Edwards like, I'm trying to do that. Plays from not even being on the original ballot to win an MVP. You know, I hope he shows out. I hope he has some nice high-flying dunks in the All-Star Game because we need it. We need some good dunks because the dunk contest, now that Shane Sharp isn't in it, I don't know. But yeah, that's great for them. And then shout out to John Morant, Larry Markkinen now being starters. That's crazy. Imagine Larry Markkinen, NBA All-Star starter. That's wild. Yeah, Utah got its All-Star though. Yeah, and then for the Eastern Conference, it's been ruled Kevin Durant, who now plays in the West, but is now in the East, as well as Kyrie Irving, who is the All-Star starter in the East, and is going to have to represent the East when now he plays in the West. But Kevin Durant, with his leg injury, will not play in the All-Star game. So Joel Embiid now moves up into the starting lineup. So the people that were saying Joel got snubbed of a starting spot, there you go. And Pascal Siakam will now be in the All-Star game, which it really surprised me that he wasn't in the All-Star game originally. I had him on my All-Star ballot because he was just having a phenomenal year, even though the Raptors have been very disappointing. I think he was having a phenomenal year, and he deserved it. But he originally didn't make it, but now he gets to make it. Shout out to Pascal Siakam. But now, we have one more to address. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown got hurt in the Celtics last game on Wednesday against the 76ers, a facial injury. And he'll be out. They say he's probably going to be out indefinitely throughout the All-Star game. So now, we have another spot open for a replacement for Jaylen Brown. So who do you think it is going to be? I think, personally, it's going to be between either James Harden and Jalen Brunson. I think it's got to be one of those two. And if I had to pick one, I would give it to James Harden. James Harden has been having a great season. You know, we know he's not James Harden of old anymore. That's putting up 35 points a game. But, I mean, he's having a solid year, averaging 21, 6, and almost 11 assists per game. Shooting solid, 45% from the field, 38% from 3. And also on the fact that the Sixers are the third seed in the East. You know, and so maybe they can get by with 2 All-Stars, and if there has to be a replacement, I would give my vote to James Harden, even though I love to see Jalen Brunson get some All-Star, recognition. He's been very good. He's averaging 23, 3, and 6, shooting 48% from the field, 40% from 3. Yeah, he's been very, very good this year. I wouldn't mind if either of them make it. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me. But if I had to give mine, I would give mine to James Harden. And I personally think it's going to be James Harden that ends up replacing Jaylen Brown. But we'll see. Maybe any other candidates out there that can replace him in the All-Star game. Cameron Thomas, no. I can't really think of anybody else. I mean, maybe Darius Garland, but I don't think Darius Garland. Trae Young. Maybe Trae Young. I don't know. I would give it to either one of the two before I give it to Trae Young. But yeah, Trae Young's gonna be in the conversation for it. He definitely gonna be just because stats and the Hawks are in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm very excited to see who they replace Jaylen Brown with. Who's gonna get in there? Well, excited not because Jaylen Brown's hurt. Jaylen Brown is great. Just want to see it. Just want to see who they're gonna announce to replace him. But now our final topic has to do, going back to the NBA trade deadline. We had one trade in there that has not been official yet because maybe some lying and deceit. Maybe some lying and deceiving. I don't think that's a real word, but we're going to use it. It was a 4-team trade that happened between the Detroit Pistons, Atlanta Hawks, Golden State Warriors, Portland Trail Blazers. It was a deal that brought Sadiq Bey to Atlanta, James Wiseman to Detroit, Gary Payton II back to Golden State, and the Blazers got Kevin Knox and 5 second-round picks. But apparently, it came out that Gary Payton II, who got traded from Portland to Golden State, failed his physical. And they look at it, and that core injury that he had at the start of the year, which why he missed so much time and didn't play a lot for Portland, is still going on. And it's a significant injury that he could miss, they said, about 3 months, a very significant part of the rest of the regular season. And so now the Warriors have this on their hands, and it could really mess this trade up. And this deal is in very much, they say, big jeopardy of not going through. And now all these guys have to go back to their former teams, which would be very, very, very awkward. Imagine getting traded, and then 2 days later, you're like, actually, the trade didn't go through. You got to go back. That's messed up. Imagine they already probably packed their bags, already looking for new apartments and houses in their new cities. And then it's like, well, don't go too far. You got to come back. Imagine a team trading you, and now you have to go back and play for them. That's so weird. That's so weird. But yeah, so apparently it's coming out that the Portland Trailblazers are kind of lying about Gary Payton's injury. You know, he did have this core injury to start the season, missed a lot of time. Then he came back to Portland and was playing basketball, and then got traded, but he's still hurt. And so apparently it came out that the Blazers were making him take shots. And it's, I don't know where, but taking shots to kind of numb the pain. And they're kind of forcing, okay, apparently people are saying they're kind of forcing him to play. So that maybe they could trade him. And a lot of stuff going on. And then the Blazers not telling anybody that he was still hurt and kind of trying to just let him go and hope they don't get caught, I guess. It's a very crazy situation, very weird situation. And so now the Golden State Warriors have until Sunday, late in the afternoon Sunday, to kind of see if they're going to still accept the deal and just have to take it, or if they're going to decline the deal. And now they don't get Gary Payton, they got to get James Wiseman back, and everyone goes back to where they used to be. But yeah, and it was very awkward because Gary Payton already came out and talked a little bit about being traded from the Blazers, and talked about a little bit about how players that got traded from Portland were kind of relieved. And it was more of a relieving experience to leave Portland. Which is very crazy coming from him because he barely was even in Portland. So if he's saying that after, half a year? Imagine what people that were there for a long time and then got traded. Like CJ McCollum. I don't know about CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum was like a star over there. But yeah, so apparently Portland is just being sneaky and grimy, I guess. That's crazy. Especially, it's Gary Payton II. Like, no disrespect, but it's Gary Payton. Like, you're forcing him to kind of sit up and play. Gary Payton is a very solid NBA player. But it's like, dang, really? Like, why? That's so weird. And if this trade does get rescinded, honestly, I kind of want it to, just for Detroit Pistons' sake. I don't want it. I don't want the Pistons to just give up Sadiq Bey for James Wiseman. I still feel a way about it. I don't know. It's just very odd. You know? And all the memes and stuff that come out of it would be super, super hilarious. But yeah, it's just a very odd situation. I don't know what's gonna come out of it, but hopefully this gets resolved. If this trade does get rescinded or not, it's not like it's gonna make a huge difference and it's gonna change the league or anything. But it's just gonna be very weird, and it's gonna look very bad on Portland. It's gonna look very, very bad on Portland if this trade does get rescinded, and now you're just stuck with Gary Payton, an injured Gary Payton, and now everyone knows that you kind of forced him into playing, and you would try to sneak him away, try to sneak away without any problem. Next, I want to talk more about the buyout market and Terrence Ross. The Atlanta Magic is getting bought out. There's talk today that Woj reported that they're finalizing a buyout for Terrence Ross. I'm very excited for him. I'm very, very, very excited for it. Terrence Ross has been in Orlando for a very long time, and I thought he should have been traded a very long time ago. And now he finally gets to get bought out. I think they were exploring trades for him at the trade deadline. Him and Mo Bamba. They just couldn't find anything for him. And now they're just going to buy him out. And as a part of that, the Dallas Mavericks are the front runner right now for him, which I really love. I think he can be used I think playoff teams would love to have a Terrence Ross. He's kind of a microwave type of dude. His nickname is the Human Torch. He could come up. I could see him coming off the bench and giving you a good 5, 6 threes in a playoff game when you really need it. He's one of those dudes that when he gets hot, he's hot, and he can get you 25 points off the bench. He's also a very solid defender. You don't think of him as a defender, but he's very solid. I'm not saying he's gonna lock down anybody, but he can get the job done. That's all that really kind of matters. So yeah, Dallas. I'll see him in Dallas. Maybe a team like Milwaukee. Everyone's gonna say the Lakers, of course, but the Sixers as well. I feel like for the last few years I've been saying to myself that Terrence Ross and the Sixers would be nice. I can just see him as a Sixer. I can see him in a Sixer jersey. Yeah, I think Terrence Ross is wherever he goes, it's gonna be a good spot. And I'm excited to see him. Just playing a good team. He's a guy that, again, is a microwave. He can light up at some points and can help you win some games. Let's talk about a few other things before we go about the trade deadline. And things that did or did not happen. There's a thing about the Toronto Raptors. They're a team that surprisingly didn't do anything what people thought they were doing. A lot of things. Well, I say do anything. They traded for Jakob Poeltl, but they didn't blow the team up like everyone thought there was going to be. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, OG did not get traded. And there's talks that came out about some of the offers that were put on the table, but didn't happen. One was with the Golden State Warriors. Or said the Raptors for the Warriors. It was sad the trade deadline. Shams reported that the Warriors were starting to get interested in OG Anunoby, but it was saying the Raptors wanted Jonathan Kuminga, others, and picks for OG. So those others probably were Moses Moody, James Wiseman, and then some first-round picks. OG on the Warriors would have been kind of crazy. But of course, the Warriors are going to have to give up that young future for OG. Which I kind of understand the Warriors not going through it, especially because Kuminga's been playing very good recently. But I can see the Warriors not trying to give up. If they do give up on the young future, I would want it to be for a guy that's going to change everything. OG is going to fit in nice, but he's not going to change anything. You do have Andrew Wiggins in there still as well. Next one from Sean saying the Milwaukee Bucks pursued Fred VanVleet before the trade deadline. I don't see why, really. They have Jrue Holiday. They got a lot of their shooters. And Fred VanVleet can't shoot, but he hasn't been shooting well, so I can't see it. What would that trade even look like? What did the Bucks have? Because the Bucks gave up 5 seconds in their entire reserves for Jay Crowder. So what was going to be? Probably maybe like Grayson Allen, maybe like one more dude, and then a first. I don't know for Freddie, but yeah. And another one from Zach Lowe saying one team. Some saying the Memphis Grizzlies offered 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. I'm honestly very surprised that Brooklyn didn't make any more trades at the deadline after the Kevin Durant deal. I'm surprised they didn't flip maybe, like Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, or Seth Curry, or anything like that. I'm surprised they kind of kept it all together. But yeah, a team offering 4 firsts for Mikal is kind of crazy. 4? Kevin Durant just got 4. Like Mikal Bridges, 4 first-round picks. That's wow. I would take 2. I'd say 2 for Mikal and maybe some solid players, but 4 firsts for Mikal. If I'm the Nets, I say yes. I don't care. If I'm the Nets, 4 first-round picks. Also depends on protections. Maybe they're all like lottery protected, which then of course not. But they were like solid protections. I mean, I would say yes. Yeah, that's it for today's episode of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow.